All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the true power with General Sarasun said he kicked back. Get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to not only the Sarasun Seti YouTube page, but the General Seti YouTube page, two dynamic powerhouse institutions on YouTube, providing you with the advanced information on Black history, heritage, spirituality, nation building. We got it all for your family. We also got memberships for you. If you look right down in the video description in the chat, you'll see a link. All you have to do is just click it. You'll get a video introduction rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarasun Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. King said he.com online marketplace, official General Sarasun Seti, DVD tops, hoodies, Afri holistic tonics and remedies, home decor accessories for every room in the house. I got something for your family. I know you're going to like it. Alarm, generalseti.com, Seti University. Here we go. Talking about over 2,500 videos. Why it didn't pop up? Here we go. There we go. Subjects, all the subjects that you know and love from General Seti. We talking about when Egypt ruled the earth. We also talking about Omega voyages of the Nile, ancient America, Kushite, global Kushite empire. The black woman is God, the making of the white man, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, all the isms, Gnosticism, Sufism. We got hip hop, occult, Black Illuminati, so many more those subjects that you know and love from the general. There's not another website nowhere on the planet with that many subjects, that many enlightening, advanced, amazing, illuminating videos on a particular subject nowhere on the planet. You should get over there and become a member today. And everybody know General Sarasun Seti is banging on Patreon. You already know that. Ring the alarm, General Seti on Patreon. We got that fire coming up tomorrow. The Phoenicians, the true African inhabitants of Israel and Palestine, Palestine, the Etruscans, the African founders of ancient Greece and Rome. Nobody talking about it, but we're going to talk about it tomorrow in great detail. So you should make sure you get over there, become a patron today. Don't you miss it. Don't dare miss it. We already got 30,000 year worship of the Black Goddess in Europe, ancient Egyptian gods in the Star Trek movie, Narmer, the first king of Egypt, the king that started it all. Yeah, got that work over there, family. And to all the family that donated to the general, I thank you. I appreciate you for the fact you appreciate me. Any of the family out there would like to donate, the link is right there on the screen, is in the video description, is in the chat. All you had to do is just click it and you can donate. I thank you. I appreciate you. Black Power. That's right. You about to get that work too. That's right. And make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarasun Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment, comment, comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, we got recently, just a few days back, Donald Trump changed the map, and and I'm glad we was able to see that in real time. Where you could see how these Cro-Magnon Neanderthals get to rewriting the script right in front of your eyes. So you can imagine how many times the map has been changed. Yeah, Black Power. You can see how many times the map has been changed based on somebody's own political background, philosophical background. And so yeah, so he's changed the Gulf of Mexico, which is up to is, and it all depends on the nation. You know, you can go in Africa and you can have a lake, a river, and you can have 5 or 6 damn names for it. That's reality. You know, what one nation call it, another nation may call it something different. So I mean, it's the prerogative of the United States if they want to call it the Gulf of America. I mean, a vast majority of the vast majority of the Gulf of is it you know, on the American border. So you know, it is what it is, and so yeah. So if he want to change it, that's on him. But we're gonna be talking about, is the Gulf of America the real Fertile Crescent? And Garden of Eden in the Bible. You know, I see this, you know, this dynamic, you know, where people are trying to reinvent the Bible, trying to reinvent the history of Egypt. Yeah, yeah. All those places are very real in a very known geography. That's true. Yeah, there's something in the water in the USA. But anyway, but I mean, you know, people can, you know, they can twist the information around to fit their narrative if they good enough, if they are good enough storyteller, you know, and you know, a lot of people, you know, look at the Fertile Crescent in the Bible and see a lot of what's in the Bible is a lie. Some of it is parable, and so you can't take the Bible to be 100% exact. Yes, the time, or I believe it. What is it? The Euphrates then dried up. You know what I'm saying? But they saying this was the river of God. Yeah, and that motherfucker then dried up. Ain't nothing over there but mud right now. You know, it's dead. I don't even think it's ever coming back. So here it is that certain, you know, and you say this is the Garden of Eden. And so, yeah, but people that know, and I've studied the Bible, I know for a fact that the Garden of Eden, as described in the Bible, has nothing to do with Mesopotamia, don't have nothing to do with that. When you know, and I look at a lot of, and I got some video that we're gonna check out where this guy, I know where the guy got the greater portion of his information. That video is far too damn long, you know, to put up. It's far too long to put up. And so this guy broke it down. Black Power, brother. This guy broke it down in a reasonable amount of time where you can kind of digest the main premise of, is, you know, the Gulf of America, the Gulf of Mexico being the Fertile Crescent. I will say this, that it is a fertile area. No, we cannot deny that. But you know, nevertheless, it's still, you know, there's a lot of fertile areas in the Bible. What is your thought on Francis Bacon's book, The New Atlantis? I believe they may have told on themselves in this book. Well, they bring that book up. You know, Francis Bacon was one of the he was one of the head Freemasons. You know, a lot of people say he had a lot to do with King James Bible. You know, I watched the documentary on that New Atlantis, you know, where it gave, the breakdown. But a lot of it is philosophical. I understand what they're saying. You know, here you got a land mass that's full of resources, is untapped, you know, for people that, because Europe had reached a point of overpopulation. You know, resources were non-limited or none at all. So it was Europe was a land mass that was full of, would have been depleted, of what little resources that it had. So anything close to America with all the resources, and it was untapped. We know our people was here now, but it was still a land mass that was technically, for the population that was on here, was technically untapped. You know, from Canada on down, you got forests, and you got, and water and all of that. So yeah, for somebody coming from a small ass island like Britain, and then you get wind of a couple of continents that's full of resources that's technically untapped based on the populations. You still got a lot of land mass left over. Shit. Yeah, I understand the New Atlantis aspect of it. But, at the same time, the rhetoric will, make you assume that this is, what, and the reality is that Atlantis was spoken of with the Egyptians. It had never been spoken of with no other continent or nothing of that matter, had never been talked about. And so, yeah, it said that the Egyptians, and if it be so, then that would also be documentation that the Egyptians had come to the New World, because they said that, it was the Egyptians that told Plato, or, the Plato, that, it was land mass beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which is the Straits of Gibraltar, which is, Spain on one side, Morocco on the other. So, some people say it was an island not far off the continent of Africa. And then some people say, well, it was North America. But nevertheless, that's all speculation. That's all speculation. But I mean, with the Olmecs, it being primarily, when you look at the technology, it is now Valley technology. There's no getting away from that. There's no getting away from that. They're just like I've been studying the Etruscans and some of the zigzag stone structures that you see in Egypt. You see it in Mesoamerica. This is one of the only places, even the Etruscans, had some, where they take these gigantic stones, but they be zigzag. They be all type of obscure, angles and, shapes and shit, that normally when somebody be carving that large, you wouldn't expect them to, cutting it in these old crazy diametrical symbols. It would seem like that would be harder for you to fit something that heavy together, but they was doing this shit like it was nothing. And so the only place that I ever seen it done was in Egypt. You see it in the old Meccan peripheral. You talking about in the Inca, you see it there, but it was there before the Inca. It was there before the Aztecs, and they admit to that. You see, and so this is where they would rather come up with an Atlantis than just say that Egyptians or Ethiopians came across the water. But with the Atlantis thing, you say, did you ever make a video on how black people was created? Yeah, yeah, out of the elements of the cosmos. Yeah, out of the elements of the cosmos, black people ain't got no birth record. You can't say we been here since this earth been here. Yeah, we've been here to explain. It'll be to explain how we got here is as difficult as explaining how this damn universe got here. Because we came just like you see these planets out here. Black people just as ancient as these goddamn planets that you see. We came with the package. You see, we came with the package. That's it. That's what make us, that's what make us primordial. That we don't have no birth record. And everybody else you see, they just appear, out of out of the cave and shit, But our people been here in a civilized state and haven't been in no other state You can't. We have never been in a state like Neanderthals where it's documented you was in a cave and this, that. Black people could have never been in no predicament like that, and still it had built the pyramids. Because we would have had to at least have, listen, a running start of at least 500,000 years to develop into a state where we could build the pyramids. That's just facts. Yeah, that's just a fact. We would have needed at least 500,000 years at the minimum. And then when you think about certain calendars that, and certain stars that, you say, I don't think you could live in Africa and not rule. They constantly live in Nauru. Would you consider that those national partially are? You know what? Of course they partially ours because our ancestors came from Africa. Our ancestors came from Africa, and you had, and just like over here, you had migrations at different times, where, naturally where they came over, because we think the world that we see today is something new, where you got cargo ships that's going all around the world carrying resources from this continent to that continent. There's nothing new about it. They only looking at what has always been, what is, what was, what will be. There's nothing new under the sun. The Kushites already had a global economy worldwide, and so, we've been transporting resources. People have been establishing colonies long before the world in the era that we see today. And so, but yeah, of course, our people, see, the thing is, what a lot of people are not saying, Aztecs had no knowledge of iron smelting, had no iron tool or blacksmith, no. And that just show you right there that they weren't no masons, because in order to cut stone and all, and especially them heavy stones, that granite and all, the heavier stones that they use, you gonna need tools. You gonna need iron and shit. And the Africans had even goddamn developed steel. They had even developed steel. We gotta quit playing. That's the thing. See, the thing is, and I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm gonna get right off, and we're gonna come back. When you talk about masonry, and it's very important that we stress this, because when you go into Egypt and you go into Nubia, you see a lot of tools like the square, the square where you square the stones, the plumb line and the plumb, where the leveler and all of this, where they making sure that the stones is leveled and shit and all. You don't need that for mounds and shit. You don't, and again, I don't want to take, because Africans had mounds, but we developed out of that, and some kept it at the same time. You go and see a lot of people, when we talk about mounds, they act like they only got mounds over here. They got mounds in Africa. The Nubians, when you go into Nubia, they were building their royal burials with mounds before they built the pyramid. The mounds are still there. You see? So, I mean, showing you that it's what the Africans took all over the world, but see, they developed, the Egyptians got the primeval mound. That's in their spirituality, but it's also symbolic of the pregnant woman's stomach. You got different levels of the understanding. Is levels to this shit, and so the mound is also, when the Nile floods, all of that silt coming down the river from Ethiopia, which is the fertilizer, it piles up at the delta. It piles up. And then when the water begins to recede, when you see that water recede, you'll see the silt mounds come from up out of the water. And so this is where they get the story of the primeval mound. You see, but then the primeval mound is also the pregnant woman. That's where life began. You know, you got your philosophical stories, but the reality is you can't have a philosophical story until first you born into the world. Until you born into the world, all that philosophical shit, you see, that's on a level after you get here. But the first primeval mound is the stomach of the great mother, the pregnant stomach of the great mother. That's what it is. So yeah, there are more pyramids in America that outdate pyramid. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. So you can stop that. You know, I done been to the pyramids in Mexico, the greatest pyramids in Mexico, and the pyramids in Egypt, and there is not even a comparison. It's not even a comparison. So you can bounce with that. You can bounce with that. You see, yes, it is. But when you build and see, the thing is, between the pyramids, and a lot, they saying pyramids everywhere. A lot of pyramids are just pyramidal like mountains and mounds and shit. So I mean, anything that look like a goddamn pyramid, this is the world. They can create this illusion, and people fall in, and that's all right if you into a cult and you wanna fall all the way in, go in, But a lot of it is, a lot of it is, because I mean, how do you think they created the pyramids? They saw things in nature, and they tried to duplicate it. They tried to duplicate it, but there's no way you could compare. Matter of fact, only in Africa where you got the true pyramid. There's no true pyramid outside of Africa. When you look at those pyramids, and even Teotihuacan, those are not true pyramids, and they're not self-standing structures. That's another thing about that. When you talk about a self-standing structure, meaning that it's held up by its own weight. It don't have a mound up under it. And so that's the difference between the pyramids in the Americas and the pyramids in Africa, is that they are self-standing structures. There's no mounds up under the pyramids in Africa. And they're true pyramids. When you talk about a pyramid, and see, a lot of people, that's why I stress it and I crack their head, because if you go into geometry, and a pyramid is a triangle. If you're going into exact geometry, and that's why I use the sciences to crush motherfuckers, because people will get philosophical and they'll say a mound is not a pyramid. It's not. It's not a pyramid. Okay? If you go into geometry, a mound is not a fucking pyramid. Okay? It's a triangle. And I believe it is an 8-sided structure. That's right. So, and they smooth on all sides, and they rise to a point from the base. It rises and it's smooth on all sides. And that's why, they started to smooth the sides out, with putting an outer layer, and it come up to the capstone, which is a point. And so, yeah, that's only in Africa where you got the true pyramid. And so, I seen them, and our people built the pyramids and the mounds, and they all spiritual. I don't take away from nothing that our people do. But in Egypt, in Nubia is where you reach the climax. Ain't no lying about that. It's real. You have to use different type of mathematics to even build a pyramid. You don't need really geometry, but some geometry. I mean, with Teotihuacan, they still had to have some form of geometry to put that pyramid together. But some of them pyramids, man, there's just a mound with some stones on the outside of it, which is, that's not masonry. Masonry is when you cutting stone and things of that nature. So there's no doubt. And like I said, when I went to the largest pyramids in Mexico, which was Teotihuacan, I was amazed that, the level of ingenuity that our people put into it. But you notice, see, Egypt will show you the level, how far more advanced than Egypt is than any other civilization in the world. Because the shit in Egypt make them say aliens landed and built it. You don't hear nobody talking about the aliens landed and built no damn Greece. You don't hear you don't hear no mythology that the aliens landed and built Rome. You don't hear nothing about it took the knowledge of aliens to build the pyramids in the Americas or nowhere else. Only in Egypt is the science so goddamn advanced where they say that aliens helped them build it. So that right there, and they tell on themselves if you just really just listen. So anybody talking about, oh, we got the most, I don't give a fuck how many. That's just like they say China got more ships in their navy than the United States. But them goddamn ships in the United States, one of them motherfuckers will sink all them goddamn ships. One of them. You see, they be coming with so much on that motherfucker, so you can have more. That don't mean shit. But who got the most exquisite pyramids? Them top 5, man, from Saqqara to goddamn you got the pyramid of Meidum, the red pyramid at Dashur. You got the Giza pyramids. Ain't nothing fucking with that. You could put damn near all other monuments in the world together, and you're not gonna even come, you ain't gonna even come close. So that's what it is. But family, I'm gonna come right back because I got this video I want to play of this guy where he talks about, is the Gulf of America the real Fertile Crescent? And you know what? Before I leave off of this one, I will say that it is a place where our people decided to, build one of their great civilizations. You see, yeah, this was a area where they were, that resembled, many other places in Africa, in the South Pacific. And so it is a spiritual place for our people because they focus. You got the Olmec civilization that was centered on to what today is the Gulf of America. And then you got the Mississippian mound culture that started in the South, which was an extension of the Olmec. It was an extension. And then you got Florida, which a lot of people consider to be a part of this, tropical Eden-like atmosphere. It got an Eden-like atmosphere. So, but that don't mean that, the story line up. Our people saw something very similar to other areas in which they built civilizations very similar, and they came here and did the same thing. But we got a video, and we're going to critique this brother. If you the whole Southeast and North is Mississippi. Okay, that's right. The whole Southeast and Northeast of the United States is Mississippi. Mouth of Mississippi. That okay, and I'm all right with that. And I'm all right with that. But we'll come back. I'm gonna give it a no less than 30 seconds, and I'm going to come back. If you're on here right now, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video so we can get this information. What's that, a praying cowboy? Make sure you come right back, good brother. And so we can cut into this video that I got, and me and you can dialogue on this. All right, I see y'all in just a second. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.